Aloha, I'm Terry Lilly, a marine biologist here in the Hawaiian Islands. I hope you enjoy my film. Hanalei Bay is a beautiful crescent-shaped bay on the north shore of Kauai. It was formed many thousands of years ago during the Ice Age when the sea levels were 125 feet shallower. There was a river in the middle of the bay that actually carved cliffs on either side. On the east side of the bay is a famous surf spot called the Bowl. I surf there often because I live in Hanalei. This is a big 30 to 40 foot straight up and down cliff. 10 years ago, the Bowl was covered with beautiful corals, almost every square inch. Now, a lot of the corals have died, and the reef's been taken over by sea urchins and other types of invertebrates. Over the last 3 years, the cyanobacterial coral disease has killed a lot of the rice corals out at the Hanalei Bowl, which also makes a lot of area for the sea urchins to move into. These little baby chromis are actually living in the spines of the sea urchin for protection. As you can see here, the Hanalei Bowl is straight up and down. We surf right over the top of this. There's lots of fish that are still there, but there's very little live coral left in Hanalei. We don't really know for sure what's killing the corals out at Hanalei, but what's really alarming is the big giant 100 to 500-year-old mound corals and lobe corals that grow on the edge of the cliff are now dying at a rapid rate. As you can see, when we go up and down the cliff, it's home to a lot of marine creatures. Here's a big Moray Eel being cleaned by a little cleaner ass. These old-growth big mound corals now are becoming infected with this very strange algae, and it's killing the coral at a rapid rate. Some of these big corals took 100 to 200 years to grow and have died within the last 6 months. There's still a lot of butterfly fish and other fish living in Hanalei Bay, but these big old corals, as they die rapidly, those fish are going to cease to exist. The brown spots on this big mound coral are the algae that's taking them over and killing them at a rapid rate, but that's really not the problem. We know that these big corals have lost their resistance. Something is making them sick. Then, whatever is in the area to gobble them up, whether it be an algae or a bacteria, takes it over. This beautiful mound coral I probably have 15 years of video of. The whole coral was gorgeous golden color, and now it's laced with all of this bacteria and algae material that's taking over and killing the coral. These big corals underneath the surf at the bowl is what makes the surf good. They drag on the underside of the wave, making the wave hollow. But when algae and bacteria take over these corals, the critters lose their home that they live in, but we are also losing the great wave at Hanalei Bay. It's not going to be as hollow and good as it used to be if the corals all die. These mound corals here, as a general rule, are pretty hard to kill, but you can see this circular-shaped algae is killing them rapidly. Some of these big old growth corals have actually fallen off the bowl and now are laying on the bottom of the seafloor. These big corals here fell off the bowl only a matter of within the last 30 days. The reef at Hanalei is crumbling. Why is the reef crumbling? This is what we don't know for sure. We know that sediment coming out of the Hanalei River is damaging the reef. Here's a big Moray Eel that I've seen for almost 10 years in a row now. I nickname him Grumpy. You don't want to get very close to him. At one point in time, I was spearfishing, and he grabbed the fish bag right out of my hands with a big fish in it. There's some cool marine life out here in Hanalei, but all of it depends on having a healthy coral reef. And that marine life's going to either die or go away if this algae continues killing these big mound corals and lobe corals. The other thing that you can notice in the pictures, Hanalei Bay used to have real clear water. Now we think with the reef crumbling so quickly, it's dissolving and making the visibility not very good. And plus, I'm sure it's not exactly healthy for humans. These big corals, only 1 year ago, looked healthy. I have video of these corals over the last 10 years showing how many have died, and also showing the ones that were healthy or got sick and when they got sick. Here's some cauliflower and antler corals that are still alive out at Hanalei Bowl. They seem to be the hardiest of all of the corals. But the big, gigantic, old-growth mound corals are dying quickly, and as you can see on this one, are just covered algae blooms and bacterial infections. Looking straight down the bowl is kind of an awesome sight. Here's a couple of butterfly fish, surgeonfish, manini. The butterfly fish, their Hawaiian name is kikakapu, which means bad no-no. You're never supposed to kill them. The butterfly fish eat coral, but they only pick and get the unhealthy coral polyps. This actually keeps the entire coral very healthy. There's surgeonfish, all types of different ones. Kalani, the bigger surgeonfish. And then, while I was taking video the other day, a big eagle ray, Hihimanu, came in and cruised right by me, right off the bowl when I was taking video. This ray is about 5 foot from wingtip to wingtip. Just came cruising right on by as if to say hi. Little cleaner wrasse are cleaning little parasites off its fins. There used to be a lot of these eagle rays that would come in and feed in Hanalei Bay. They actually dig in the sand at the bottom of the bay and dig up clams and crabs and different invertebrates. But there's been so much mud coming out of the Hanalei River over the last few years that it's made the bay fairly toxic, and most of the eagle rays don't feed here anymore.